Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back for your Wednesday morning edition of Second Breakfast. I hope everybody's out there having a great day. I know it's a little early, but I have a feeling it's going to be a great one. Nothing really expected in the mail. That's okay. I did pick up something that I didn't know I needed, didn't know existed, but I'm glad I grabbed it. Got a good deal on that. I'll show that off next month when it's appropriate. Timmy, how you doing, Timmy? Timmy, you want to come in and hang out? I can send you the link. You finally subscribed and you've been here a couple of days in a row now. Everybody knows you from DM James's show. I saw he was goofing off the other day. I'm glad to see he's back to normal-ish, but at the same time, I don't begrudge him wanting to play a little Conan. I've been, doing something on my own that's not really this, not really miniature gaming or I mean, reading the books that I was talking about this morning are very uh, inspirational for the game I'm working on. What's up, Dean? But at the same time, I'm taking that, as more of a side bonus thing because there's so many things in the story, and that's something else I was going to talk about that I cannot possibly use in a game because it's a novel, it's not a game. While the two are similar and have similarities and talk about the same things, there's some not so subtle differences that just don't translate well. There's only one guy involved, and that's the author. And what he wants to happen is gonna happen for the most part. Unless he's one of those writers that imagines their characters are there talking to them, telling them what to do, kind of thing. I find borderline crazy, but at the same time, I have experienced it, so there's something to it. But I don't know that I would always listen to those voices. You never know what they have in mind, especially if you're familiar with some of the old, like that one episode of the Twilight Zone and a few other comic books and books where authors self-insert. I've never done that. Never wanted to do that. It's kind of the point is to write about people and places and things that aren't you. Maybe similar, but the whole, like when Roger Zelazny put himself in his books, I was like, yeah, mind you, it was a long time ago, and it was a little newer to the writing game, but I would never do that. What's up, Steven? How you doing? Once again, it is still just a little bit too hot to do too much painting, and I do still have a few things that need basing, and I would already uh, glued this fireball to a base because it was a little wobbly, but it's good now. And I was noticing that it's some of the minis that I got recently, these Reaper Legends, they're the bases are just way too big to put them on other bases unless I get, I don't know if there's 30 millimeter bases from Reaper, but these 45s they're just too big. It's too much space on the table for just a regular player character. Monsters, that's different. I should have my corn stalks in the next day or two, and I'm going to make up some cornrows, and my scarecrow general is going to get a little bit of a extra touch with some cornrows in the background and a broken piece of fence. Which reminds me, I need to find some craft sticks to build that with. Trying to think if we have any popsicles or anything like that in the freezer. Uh, it's an antihistamine kind of day. It's something in the morning I had an allergic. Oh, that's not good. I used to have really bad allergies to a bunch of things. Nothing that yeah, I believe it is. It's just a, and it was a single. This was all that was in the pack, and I'm like, It's kind of cool, but at the same time, I would rather have the kind that are made out of like clear plastic. But when I bought those lots of 10 Reaper blister packs, I knew some of them weren't going to be awesome. Matter of fact, I've got like 6 or 7 over here. I did that again. Um, that I don't care about. Out of 30, if 5 of them are meh, I know they'll be good for somebody somewhere down the road. But for right now, I don't need any barbarian mouselings what were some of the other ones that I just wasn't thrilled. There was another paladin that was cool, and I've got my Reaper Boister Cult guys. Oh, there's Reaper Iconic River Widows. She's like larger scale, so while it's not going to be great for a miniature, uh, but I will paint it, but I can't use it as a character. Maybe if I ever need a female giant, but not likely. But there's this the Barbarian Mouselings, the Crusader Champion, another Paladin. Can never have too many of those. Oh, and a couple of pirates that I may already have, and some sort of lady shaman that I suppose I could use for a witch, but I like my witches to look like witches. Is that weird? There's a lot of smoke here on the North Oregon coast. Well, like Trey and Matt said, blame Canada. Um, we haven't seen any of that. We've got smoke of our own from time to time, and this year was kind of a light year for brush fires, so that's a bonus. Because I was just telling uh, our solar panel guy that July 4th and right around that time, there's always a brush fire on the other side of the mountains. It never makes it up the hill, which is good because right before, like right on the other side of our mountain or one of our mountains, is a crap ton of trees. I mean, and that would just, and that would be a real shame where they two all, go up and smoke like that because I mean, they're thick, they're green, and even though it's a desert, they're always, pretty lush, and it would be a shame. Yeah, it's only 9:06 here as well, Stephen. But Timmy, you're in like Kentucky, right? Something like that. But yeah, it's pretty toasty here, and I did get to do some work on the campaign, the fantasy espionage campaign, and yep, realized just how much more work I have to do. I've literally, while I've got a nice chunk of the map, and I'm really kind of pleased with the way the map is, very, I'm not going to say Tolkien esque, but very simple, but yet there's a lot there. And, for me, the map making process actually holds more information than, a stack of notebooks written out. For me, I can just look at a place and once I put it on the map, I can tell you like a whole bunch of things about it, but I'm a little lazy to write it all down. But I am looking forward to finishing off a couple of touches on the map and then posting it on the Discord so folks can, take a look at it. I know that's not going to like, I saw the map, now I want to play. There's none of that, but that would be nice though, wouldn't it? If I could draw a map so good that people just wanted to play. I was looking at the, yeah, it's probably hot and muggy. I'm guessing. There have been some maps that I went, wow, those are really cool. I wish I could make maps like that, but never like, now I want to play that world. I've never actually had that experience. Have you guys ever just looked at a map and went, I want to be in that game? Except maybe the Gamma World map. Now that I think about it, back in the day when, and not the hex, the blank hex map of the United States, but the one of like the Pittsburgh map, I think it was, where it's all just you know, tore up and everything's dilapidated and that sort of thing. I do remember seeing that map and going, yeah, I want to play there. I never did though. Never ran it. Never played it. Always had other places of my own, which is something weird. I've been thinking about lately when it comes to all the game worlds out there. Like the Greyhawk guys. I don't just. I ran Greyhawk for about 2 years. I want to say, and that was literally the kind of like the final straw. I mean, other than Arduin, and Arduin was vastly different because there really was no map back in the day. So Arduin was just, I mean, there kind of was like maybe one map, but it was so vague but at the same time full of like interesting named places. Some of the Dragon Age games have cool maps I would have wanted to play in, but the RPG was licensed and ended too early. I remember looking into that. Was that like a video game, or am I thinking something else? But I found that it was too. There was something about it that turned me off in the way of the gameplay, not anything else. When I play an RPG, I want it to be kind of slow. I don't want to have to like, oh crap, I got killed because I wasn't fast enough with the controller. I was kind of spoiled with all the turn-based RPGs back in the day. But I've noticed that I really don't have any interest in playing in almost any of the pre-existing RPG worlds. Even some of the IPs like John Carter. I mean, I'd play there, but I wouldn't run it, and I have absolutely no interest in running anybody else's game world. And even when I'm in other people's games, I find it just there's something about it knowing that the GM made it, as opposed to they're just reading off text from a module or a book or whatever. I want to see their creativity as well. As get to play my character. I really like the idea that this is their world, and I think it's because I subconsciously know that they know it better. But no matter how much you read up on Greyhawk or Mystara or Karatur or any of those worlds, as a creator, you have a feel for it and a knowledge of it, and you don't have to look anything up. It seems it's faster, it's smoother, the narrations are better. Maybe there's a few guys out there I know that can really run the hell out of this system or that world setting or what have you. But like when I was in OGGM's world, I could really tell that he'd put time into it and was invested in the world on a different level than when I've been in other people's worlds. Like Bruce, great guy, but like just I could just I don't know feel that maybe, um, and he ran it pretty well. But if he had made his own world, I think it would have been better than running somebody else's world. You guys ever like feel like that, or the opposite? You prefer somebody else's world so you could focus more on their lore and not have to worry about creating. The problem with the game world I would want to play is that it's one I dreamt up that was gestalt of a lot of game worlds I've read. It has annoyed me really. It didn't actually exist. Well, you can make it exist, and with a little luck, a little persistence, and patience, and trial and error, you could make it. And I bet most people would not be able to go, oh, this is a pastiche of this and this squished together, unlike so many other worlds that are just Earth. But it's like they literally take a map of the world, the Middle Age world, and then just cut out all the countries and then rearrange them, and that's supposed to impress me, because it does. It just absolutely doesn't. I don't. I and I know that I'm asking for a lot, and I know it's hard to come up with something that doesn't resemble or isn't influenced by other stuff. I've never been a buyer of adventure modules, but I always collect settings. But mostly, yeah. I mean, I've got Ravenloft, and there's a little place that's very Ravenloft on the new map because um, September, October, November is coming. Uh, for one, and two, I love vampire and vampire hunting. Um, three, it seemed like a perfect fit for the campaign, what's going on, the intrigue and the court cloak and dagger kind of stuff, and the mystery, and of course, um, I've read my fair share of vampire stories, and one of my favorites I'm incorporating into it, just like one little snippet detail, kind of part of the twist that nothing's as it seems. Uh, I had a great time in Phelan in the Pool of Radiance games I played with my cousin and his wife was the DM. Yeah, I've played in a lot of other people, IP worlds over the years, and in many cases, especially in the '80s, we didn't really know any better. If someone had made their own world, there was a small period of time where if someone made their own world, they were kind of like, oh, look at this, you know, person, hoity-toity, look at me kind of thing. But then, as I started thinking about it, I'm like, you know, I want to try my hand at it. And I remember the first world I made, and it was funny because I only had like a pencil, a black pen, a blue pen, and a green pen. For whatever reasons, that's all I could find. And I made this whole world, it was like probably 4 sheets of typing paper taped together. And I was so proud of myself. And the I probably still have it. That's how much of a pack rat I am. I bet if I spent like an hour, maybe two, I could find it in the garage in one of my folders. But it was like an ice world. It was very very frozen over, very. But there were none of the traditional, stereotypical Viking helmets with the horns on either side. I always loved that in the early Conan books, the comic books. It's fun seeing what they might change and personalize it to the players. Remember in the Conan comic books where Conan had that helmet where there were two horns right here, just like whoosh, kind of not quite like a bull, but almost more like a ram, but they weren't ram horns. You guys remember that? I always thought that was kind of interesting because it was totally made up, and it made sense that you could, while wearing the helmet, and of course you would have really needed like a chin strap to make that shit work, which I've always marveled at that no one ever had a chin strap in almost any of the helmets that just barely cover your head. Those things would be falling off like crazy. Um, but it was just interesting because it was so uniquely theirs, and they made their Conan helmet uh, just something new. And I always like little touches like that. I've used published settings, but I make them my own. I often ignore official timeline and such. That I think that's actually one of the first things people do is change the history or omit the history and just work with whatever is important for the actual setting. I was actually working on the timeline last night, just like 900 years since the big catastrophe, the Civil War, because I needed to know when things happened. Certain kingdoms came around, and that led me to other things, and that was kind of interesting. And in doing so, it's like, oh hey, a couple little ideas sparked bigger ideas that actually explain why certain things would be the way they are, and I kind of like that. And The more I look at the map, the more I think of about the world instead of writing it down. I'm just like, I just look at this one place and it's now like I can tell you so much about these little places. I just drew a circle, threw a name on it, but by staring at the map and the surrounding area, and I did. What's up, Grandma? How you doing? Have you contacted George and Dave? Have you gone to their site? Oh my God, there's some really cool shit. If they literally like took all the books off the site, there'd still be like enough to keep them in business for years. Uh, for those of you who don't know, Emperor's Choice just added a line of paints, including a dry brush paint, which may be a powder. I don't know. I have to check with them. Some other like washes, like metallic washes. I'm like, what? I've been looking for like certain metallic washes like my whole life. Well, 6 years, and they got Kolinsky paintbrushes and primers and all kinds of just like a crap ton of stuff. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm literally going to have to like box up and give away a crap ton. Like all my Reaper paints are probably going to be given away because there's just I never use them. Like never. I'm using up like the white and black just because I can't go wrong. But I just never use them. Yeah, they've also got like dice, no metal dice, which or maybe they have some metal dice, which are like my favorite now. But they've got some onyx and some like stone, different kinds of stone dice, which I thought, that sounds kind of interesting. I'm more partial to the metal, but then they've got glass dice, and I'm like, that sounds both awesome and not awesome. I don't want to say a terrible idea because I could see how, you cannot roll them together. You have to have a padded dice tray. If you drop them, you're shit out of luck. That probably, especially here at Casa de Shadow, where they will shatter in a million pieces. The boy just he dropped. We had these Burger King or McDonald's, I forget which, Batman Forever, like little glass mugs, and we've had them forever. And we didn't even get them from the restaurant when the movie came out. I don't even think my wife and I were together or knew each other. They're so old. And he dropped one, and he was so bummed because so many memories of drinking out of that cup. And I'm like, "Don't worry, kid. I'll just get some new ones." He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "eBay. I can find anything. At one eventually, I can find literally like almost anything. I've that used to be my business card. I can find anyone or anything." And sure enough, go on eBay. I get like the whole set for like $40. It's kind of expensive when you think about it. But you're not paying for just four generic coffee cups. You're paying for four glass mugs that were limited edition. Yeah, holy broken glass, right? But I'm going to get them, but I'm also going to get the ones we didn't have because I've been eyeballing also a set of the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back Burger King glasses. I had all four. And for those of you who don't remember, you had to go to Burger King for 4 weeks in a row to get the whole set. You had to like buy a burger and you'd get a drink, like buy a combo basically, and you'd get the free glass. Okay, and like 1 week would be Luke, 1 week would be Lando, 1 week would be Boba Fett, and I had all those glasses, and I'm pretty sure I still have them. I just don't know where the hell they are. There's only one place they can be, and that's up in the attic. And the boy and I have been really fond of having like black cows and ice cream sodas. Like at night, it's like it's getting close to bedtime. Hey, let's have a black cow and just talk for a bit. And we've got the I also think from either Burger King or McDonald's the old Coke glasses, but in the tinted glass. And I still have two of those that are up high on a shelf that nobody can reach but me. Not even Jackie can reach them. And I'm like, and they've got the our big, Sunday spoons and stuff, from like Wendy's or something. I just keep storing them there, so that when we have one, we can have a fresh spoon. I know that's weird, but um, and I've got those, but I'm like, you know, it would be cooler than using these old Coke glasses, which were designed for that. In case you guys didn't know, they were actually designed, the shape for ice cream sodas or whatever. I'm like, what would be cooler than that is if I broke out the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back cups and we had an ice cream soda in those. And I said, like, hey, you want an ice cream soda? It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I hand it, he's would be like, his eyes would just be like, no way. Yeah, way. These are older than you are by decades. Yeah. Um, so I'm gonna grab those. It's just stupid shit like that. I've been like kind of wanting to collect and just even if they broke the next day, it would be cool just to be able to go, yeah, dude, when I was a kid, this is the way it was. Places gave out cool shit, to promote their cool shit. Um, yeah, Cal, definitely. I'm getting the entire line of paint and everything, and it's going to be I'm paying for it. I'm not going to. They're like, oh, we'll send you some. No, 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 no. If you send it to me, I won't be honest. And I want to be honest because if you look at the site, it's mostly, or at least there's a huge, like, I have never before in my life seen more metallic paints of such glorious looking colors. Now, mind you, I'm looking at them on my screen, and so the labels and everything may be a little exaggerated. It may look too good, but I want to check them out because I love the Army Painter colored paints, but I've had those for like 5 6 years, um, and they're still pretty pasty. They came out like really really thick, and these have colors that I don't have, and they look really amazing. So I want to be able to give my honest opinion because if they're crap, I don't mind take taking the hit and telling them, hey, don't get these anymore. They're not good. They'll probably still do it because they probably have like a big contract with them. But if they're not great, I will be honest. Um, so Grandma was saying something about Star Wars. Okay, yeah, Cal. There's a lot of new stuff. Just don't let your wife see the bill. I'm going to have to get Star Wars when it is published. What do you mean when? Because my playgroup finally been hitting the net to learn about the new role playing game, and they're all Star Wars fans. They're saying, okay, but do you have the old original D6? And if so, um, why not play that? Because if you're not gonna, I'll take it off your hands. If you don't want it anymore, you're not going to use it. Just going to sit there and rot. I'll take those things off people's hands, no problem. Because I will. I was just reading the Star Wars book a couple of months ago because we were playing it and using it. Um, but I mean, don't get me wrong. If I were to have written a Star Wars game, it would have been very, very different and way more detailed. It probably would have been closer to uh, the D20 version of Star Wars because despite what some people think, I really do like class, you know, character class games where you have a class, you get these abilities at these levels. I really do like that. Whether or not it's realistic, it's not. It's a game. I need some sort of framework to work with. I was talking to Bear last night. I just don't like skill based systems as much as uh, the next guy when it comes to fantasy. What's up, Dean? Come on in. When you're doing science fiction, not a problem. When you're doing Call of Cthulhu and things like that, no problem. What do you think? Class versus skill based games.
It really depends what kind of players you have. Like I would say, if you're more like vampire type players, I know like World of Darkness exists, but I believe they would probably be better with like a skill point system. Whereas people who like numbers go up, or like a more game or more like a competitive or game where you feel like you achieve something each time and not just progress in the story. A level system definitely great, and you should be careful about mixing the two unless the quote unquote skill system then is extra class abilities. So basically, abilities you don't get from your class.
Hmm.
That's the only way I think like you can really mix the two. It's different progressions.
Hmm. Not just different progressions, but things that only they can do. Literally, only they.
Yeah.
When it's just a list of skills and anybody could grab them. Every time I've ever run a game like that, everybody ends up with first aid.
Hmm. For good reasons, yeah.
Right, right. But then everybody also eventually can fight, and they can fight really well by the end of the campaign or story, or they're so much better at fighting than you kind of hope they would. You kind of hope that there's people in there that aren't like just all combat monsters. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Unless you're playing like Traveler, in which case you kind of want everybody to be able to fight. That's
Yeah.
you know,
Everyone able to fight, everyone able to either patch you up quickly or drag you away.
right, or fix the ship or whatever. And even then, it's like that's what was great about Star Wars. That was a class based system. The story, the original Star Trek, excuse me, even Star Wars. It's a class. You can do these things that nobody else in the group can really do because that's your job. But like in Call of Cthulhu or Chill, it's like or even Star Ace or Star Frontiers. It's like kind of everybody could eventually do all the same shit, and you had to work harder to be different. We could all picture the character, archetype, who they were. He's the captain, he's the engineer, whatever. But
Mm.
in like a pinch, you knew the captain or the pilot could go fix anything,
Yeah.
and
And for
it's just
some reason, the engineer can make beer too and speaks with a funny accent and is really into tanks and trains. But I digress.
but you're not wrong. It's a really good it's a really good system. The D6 one, might give it a look. Yeah, I'm still trying to find the time and the desire to go into the Planet of the Apes D6 system. It's so niche, man. I love those movies, and I love what I saw in the Planet of the Apes books. I even got the solo role play book in the mail the other day, and I'm just like, maybe it's just a seasonal thing, or I burned it out by watching the movies a couple of months ago. I just watched the movies back to back, and I'm like, oh, I finally understood the last movie. It took me, 50 years to finally understand what the hell was going on. It's like, how come there's mutants and you talking humans and talking apes all at the same freaking time? How does that work? Oh, because it's like a couple of minutes after the fifth movie, not like decades or year. Well, it's maybe a decade, but it's really soon after
Yeah.
Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. I thought it was like way later, but it wasn't because Caesar's in it, which I didn't even realize. A Mobius, a Omen. Yeah, the D6 version was great, but I mean, for today, I would definitely do it very differently. Class and skill based, buying skills outside your class. Yeah, and you know what? After a long enough train of playing, that is meaningless. You know what I mean? When players, it's like, well, it's going to take me this to get to fifth level here, or I could just, almost go up to second level here. It's like, well, being more versatile or being plus one better. Hmm, it's not even a choice. But when you can't do those things, then you just and you're sorry to say forced, but you just like, well, I guess I just gotta keep saving them my XP until I'm fifth level, maxed out in the thing. Well, that'll be cool because at least when I get there, I can say I'm the best in the galaxy. But yeah, they're not going to get excited about a 40-year-old game, but that's a shame because there are some very old games that if I got a hold of. I'm trying to think because I have them all. If there was a game that I've wanted for like years and years and years and couldn't afford or didn't even know existed, and I could just grab it, I would be pretty excited about it. But at this point, I've picked up so much stuff. I picked up something this morning that I'm going to actually use in the upcoming campaign, but I didn't know it existed.
So,
Uh,
guys, if you ever need to disappear, Shadow needs people to play RPGs with.
yeah, I'm sure we got a couch you can sleep on, and no one will find you for like months. We'll just game at the table, eat, drink, sleep. You will shower daily, and we'll play some games, and no one will have a freaking clue where you are. Uh, and
I kind of like the Saga Star Wars book. The problem was just they didn't scale well up higher levels.
when I saw Wizards of the Coast was doing Star Wars, I was wondering if I would get excited. Phone calls. Okay, you're looking at 5e Star Wars in late 27 to 28. Yeah, you know what? I don't fucking care. Um, I think if I say let's play Star Wars, everyone will show up with lightsabers. Yeah, Omanal and George and Off Grid Night, we had a lot of fun, but um, George was uh, not like super ready to run like a really long campaign, and I was okay with that because it's like there's it's not like a lot of other games, where accumulating treasure and things are have any meaning whatsoever. There may be that when I got my lightsaber, I'm like, okay, I've arrived. This is awesome. But now what? Now I'm gonna try to take over the galaxy. And thank God we were playing in the old Republic era. Otherwise, I know it wouldn't matter because the story says I can't. That the Emperor is going to do that, and I'm going to get killed by him if I try. So, playing 2,000 years before all that means there's a lot wide open, but I still know my character is going to die no matter what I do. There's no way he's going to still be alive canon, in 2026. Disney Star Wars canon. They're going to be like,
Yeah, if
hey,
I remember
Shadow.
correctly, Osaka was actually Asaka. There we go. Was actually the one with the red and whatever
Mhm.
horns. She was actually supposed to die during the purge, but apparently the writer stretched the story long enough for Disney to buy it, and they didn't care. But George had
Mhm.
said he could make her and include her as a companion to Anakin, but she had to die during the purge because we can't keep having Jedi survive it.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, she survived because Disney.
Well, because little girls needed someone to look up to, and they needed someone to sell the merchandise to little girls too.
Yeah. I mean, that's also a good reason. It's just, yeah.
That's the reason behind so many decisions is selling stuff, action figures, plushies, whatever you want to call it. Uh,
I mean, there's also the reason that Ninja Turtles are the colors they are, besides that they're turtles, and turtles are green, bluish, not sorry, green and yellowish, is that it was made to be both attracted to boys and girls.
no, I know it can be Omen. It's just that because I know there's such a thing as canon, and that there is things that are, there's a difference between canon and fan fiction. And fan fiction has always had a derogatory connotation to it, and I try to stay away from that. Because I could either be a fanboy writing fanfic, or I could do my own thing elsewhere, and um, I'd rather do that. Especially with you know I'm really petty when it comes to helping out big companies that I hate. I won't do anything that I perceive that could possibly help them in any way, shape, or form. It's like I could do that, and mind you, still have fun and not hurt anybody, and maybe make some people really happy. or I could take my chance, roll the dice, and make something of my own that does all that and maybe a little more. Not like I have delusions of grandeur that anything I ever write is going to get printed and make actual money. But I don't want to give them even one freaking penny. I don't own a single Wizards of the Coast book. I never will. Um, they have done almost nothing uh, that I can say good job. Even the miniatures, which for a long time I'm like, okay, the miniatures are fine. They don't have an agenda except the combat wheelchairs retardation. Some of the minis are okay until they started to droop, and I'm like, I guess these are all going in the trash.
Started the what?
Droop. The plastic starts to like melt.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You know, just by gravity. If you know if that's going to happen, even if it's 10 years from now, I don't want them in my collection.
yeah. Mine haven't done that, and but that's like the one they made for free their miniatures.
Hmm. Uh,
So
I have quite a few that swords are, yeah, and there's nothing you can do once you've painted them. You can't risk throwing them in hot water and melting them because they have to get so
oh,
hot.
these aren't painted at all. Like, well, these were not. They already came painted, so that's probably why it's different product.
Hmm. And with that, I'm just yeah, I can't even say those were good, which I thought they were, but I can't even say that, which means if there's some flaw like built in, some sort of planned obsolescence, you know, whether it be the game rules, knowing that they're going to make another edition in 10 years, it because you got to know that most of these big companies that is part of the game plan, not just
Yeah, that is
GW.
unfortunately like um yeah, that is what is happening. Like every version of Wizard of the Coast, except for maybe 5e, have had the issue that Hasbro has said that you need to earn more, so they had to push out more books or try to get people on the subscription plan, which failed with 5e and 4e.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
At some point, they will just go. This is what the way it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. You either buy our stuff or you play with your old moldy books.
yeah,
You luddite.
yeah.
Nerdy. I was thinking the same thing. Palladium would be a great Star Wars mold because it is a class base with skills, and it doesn't detract from anything, and it's got a built-in system of advantages, so to speak. If you get the skill this way or that way, and who gets what skills, then if it's not on your list, so to speak, then you're going to pay extra for it, and you're going to get less out of it. And it does do a great. I don't like the combat system because it's really complicated, but it's complicated in the right way to do parries and dodges, and lightsaber battles would be, you know, you could really do that some justice. Um, Owen says he liked Ahsoka in the Clone Wars cartoon. Same with Ventress. You see the blue. What the hell were those creatures called? Twi'leks. She was one of my favorite characters, the blue one. Um,
Are they blue or are they like blue with red eyes?
I don't remember that much.
Because I know there's the Chris or Crits or whatever how it is pronounced. We saw, yeah, a near human species with blue skin and red eyes.
Like Thrawn.
Yes, Admiral Thrawn is a Chris.
Okay. Yeah, I never read those books. I had them. I didn't read them. I wish I had, and now I don't give two shits.
They're
Um,
pretty all right. They've at least a decent direction to take the books in. Sorry, to take the franchise in if you want to post, what do you call it, Endor story. We're just gonna ignore heirs to the empires unless you want to rewrite it all.
I'm pretty sure one way or another watch Star Wars in my future, but that won't be for a while. And no one says every game is fan fiction. Yeah, but it's there. There's a fine line between total fan fiction and um, straying as far away from that as possible. You know what I mean? And diving whole hog into, you know, the idea that these people are better than anything I can ever do, so I'm just going to let them do it. Is kind of where I draw the line. You know, if every other company can do better than I can do when it comes to the story, not the rules, the mechanics, that's like, you know, well, I might as well make my own language too. You know, no, so that I could, you know, create my own language to speak my thoughts in and write my rules. And, you know, I'm not going to go that far to say I created everything. But when I create a new world using any other system, especially like a really old out of print system that nobody gives two shits about, um, then at least I'm doing something as original as I can. Um,
Mm.
Maybe I could talk one of them into GMing. Seems the average is about 8 years per new edition, right? It's Spaceballs 2, the search for more money. Yeah, I know the Hasbro master plan. They want everyone on the subscription, all digital BS, and lots of brand IP crossover games. Yeah, it was like Magic the Gathering when they started doing, you know, other things, you know, like 40K or whatever they were doing, adding it to the game. I'm like, okay, I totally get it. It's genius for making money, you know. But I stopped buying Magic the Gathering cards like before Jackie was born. I think for the most part. No, I did buy the. I did.
Fun fact, so did I.
I did get the Dungeons and Dragons edition of Magic the Gathering, but that was because I got it along with a bunch of other stuff I got from Rob Oren from one of his charity auctions, and I was curious, like, I wonder, you know, what a beholder would be in Magic the Gathering, or you know, it's just some of the other stuff, and I'm like, you know, they should have done this like so long ago. Like the minute the minute they got D&D, they should have like, yeah, we're gonna do D&D Magic always, but they didn't. And
Yeah, back then they actually did Magic as Magic. They didn't do all the crossovers, which was kind of surprising, like you said.
and in a way, I mean, let's face it, in a way, it kind of was D&D always. You were the character. Your deck was your spell book and your magic items and the things you could summon. And if you could get to them quick enough, you know, through play, then you get to use them. But if not, your opponent would blast you, and that was that. As long as I can get PDFs and print on demand, it never goes out of print. Sure, but I like it to go out of print. Aayla Secura the Jedi, she was Twi'lek. I don't remember. Ventress was Night Witch. Okay, yeah, I always got the two confused. I used to play that Star Wars Universe, uh, you know, game, the video game. Jackie and I used to play it, and it was kind of fun for a while, but then I was like, what am I doing? You know, I'm the game is dictating, you know, that I need to do these certain things at certain times of the day. Yeah, fuck you. I'm taking a nap. If PDFs were the only option, I'd have to work on my bookbinding skills. Yeah, no shit, right? Um, and even then, you know, that's potentially, you know, uh, going to be illegal. You think I'm kidding? Did you guys know that in certain jails, in certain prisons, you're not allowed to have books?
I did not know that. I knew like there was like a limit to dice and so forth because gambling.
Hmm. No, you. Some prisons you're not allowed to read or not allowed to have books.
Hmm.
Like you can't even have a Bible in your cell. Can you imagine any justification for that?
Not good ones.
Hmm.
That's more like the punishment is the process, as they call it.
Flan fiction is so much tastier. I can't stand flan. Well, it's really simple if you guys haven't figured it out. Um, if you're in jail and you can't read, you can't improve other than physically. And even then, in some of those same places, you're not allowed to do push ups and exercises like that to like get stronger, because they fear you,
Yep.
as they should. Like literally, you're if they catch you trying to bulk up, because you can. I've seen videos on how the guys in jail get freaking ripped because that's all they got to do, and so they do it. Whether it's lifting their bed, using their bed as an exercise machine, but what they don't understand or what they don't know about or forgot about was Charles Atlas's dynamic tension. You can use your own body, by pushing against yourself and pushing your muscles against each other as a way to get ripped. That's how he did it. He literally didn't use anything but himself to do that for the most part. Yeah, I totally agree, Bubba. And welcome to the show. So they want you as weak and compliant and as useless as possible. And it's only going to be a matter of time before they want that for the people outside the jail as well, as you can see with some of the immigration policies and the dumbing down of schools and no child left behind.
I mean, there
If
was
nobody,
already like during COVID, there's some areas where they limited how much people could go outside or go in public places, and what you call it, the gyms were counted as a public places.
hmm the first places to get shut down here were the gyms and the vitamin stores.
The what stores?
Vitamin.
Okay, that
Think
sounds
about
like
that,
outreach.
right? I was like, wait a minute. The liquor store's open, but the vitamin store is closed. What are they trying to tell you? They want you sick and they want you drunk or inebriated or incompetent. And if you guys remember, Fahrenheit 451, it's not a giant leap between you not being able to read at all, and just watching your tablet, watching your porn, watching your playing your video games and doing nothing else, being the prolies like in Cyberpunk, um,
And have a
and
good day, Mobius.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little behind. I get what Shadow is saying about canon. Stray too far, it ceases to be Star Wars or Star Trek, for example, or go too deep, and that's all you are is another alkalite at the temple of Disney. And I mean, if I'm going to adhere to a fake religion, can I be more like at the top, right? You know, I'd rather be the false prophet than the retard follower. You know. With Watsy making Star Wars and just waiting for the Dragonkin Vampire Warlock Jedi. That was really good. I use canon until the game starts. Yeah, yeah. They're dead set on removing DMs from the equation. Exactly, and uh, then there goes creativity unless you're one of the elected few to create using the message. Fuck that. You know,
So, Shadow, I have something to add to the topic from before about worlds and settings and so forth.
let's hear it.
So, I think one of my inspirations is the original, back when it was called Pathfinder Chronicles, like when they
Mhm,
released the Gazetteer for third edition. I think one of the inspiration was like from like that setting is like seeing like something like a uniform like that,
mhm,
and then also if we go quickly to the human sections, like the spreads like those.
mhm,
I know like Paizo isn't what should we call it, like a 1700 what do you call Age of Sail kind of setting, but
mhm.
they did have some nation like in the original art that looked like that. And I think that's one of the inspiration. And another one is probably is it 13C or what's that game called? The
I
pirate
don't.
game. Let's see.
What's up, bad news? I don't. That doesn't ring a bell.
Or maybe it was 12C RPG.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, 13H RPG or 7H, which
Yeah,
is
it still doesn't sound familiar. I stay away. like from Pathfinder
Oh yeah.
and
Oh, this is a completely 7th age and 13th age, I think it was. Oh, maybe I just remembered my name completely. Almost like a original like pirate game, and it was pretty good. And then they changed everything in second edition. Okay, it was
agreed.
the 13th age.
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't I don't have any way that I would be uh, exposed to some of that stuff. Believe it or not, I don't watch a lot of the bigger YouTubers. I don't watch a lot of other things that would where people would talk about that stuff. Um, I'm still really behind the times with a lot of newer RPGs. Anything that's come out in the last 15, 20 years, I might not have heard of. Um, I mean, I literally didn't know about third edition until fourth or fifth was already in existence.
Okay, I can see why it sometimes feels like you're living under a rock. Then
Yeah, I don't go to game stores anymore. The only one nearby sells nothing but 40K. It's a Games Workshop, and the only other store uh, that exists is a literal spin-off. The previous manager of that place said, "Fuck you guys, I'm opening up my own store," and is doing quite well. But he still mostly sells 40K and 5e. And I'm
yeah,
like,
that's the problem with game stores nowadays. Is not even that things are
take care, Moby.
that things are consolidated, but the fact that if you want to buy the big things, you have to order a certain amount home decided by them, and now you have this expensive stuff you have to sell. You don't have like a mixture of like things like they used to.
Mhm. There is that grandma of making fires and homemade knives, but that's only like maybe half of the equation. The other half is if you're reading, you're learning, and if you exercise, you can get stronger than the guards because the guards are woefully out of shape. They really really are. If you've ever looked into it, you'll find that 7 out of 10 is 7 out of 10 guards are just in
Yeah, yeah,
awful
there is.
condition.
Oh yeah, it was the 750. Thank you, over now. But yeah, that is true. Like if I remember correctly, there's like three things wrong with prison guards. One, and that's the same problem with police that like they don't want people too smart because they get bored, they ask too many questions and so forth. And the second one is a lot of them have decision fatigue, aka they have to do so much in a day, make decisions that like they can't. When it comes to decide what to eat, they just eat something, and fast food is easy.
Hmm.
And the third one is just there is a lot of people that aren't good at exercising or just
Well, there's that, and there's also like kind of like the rejects from law enforcement, kind of get shuffled down to the bottom level.
yeah.
Bubba, that is a fine game. I put it on the back burner for creating a campaign because I have so much work to do unless I just want to cave into the fact that it's pure fantasy, no matter how you slice it. In which case, uh, it's harder for me to suspend my disbelief as the more like side research I do, not for games, but just trying to learn a little bit more about the cosmos and the
Yeah.
planets and
I haven't read
astrophysics.
I haven't read Pirate Borg, but I know my issue with Morkborg is like the game world itself doesn't give you like a premise to run with. Yes, the world is ending and the four horsemen and there and all that, but like it really puts it like in the GM to make okay, this is what we are playing in this game. Like there isn't that much of how should we say a formula or stuff. That's what was my issue with Morkborg.
Yeah, I didn't like the original. um, and everything else that they did seemed like just a combination cash grab and let's just copy this genre and that genre and this genre in our style, which is fine. But their style initially did nothing for me, and the idea that everything's going to suck and that's the fun part is not, color me weird, but to me that just doesn't sound fun. And I do watch your stuff, Bad News, um, but I have no interest in some of these bigger companies uh, that if they hate me, or if they're just filing the serial numbers off of something and calling it their own. I've got the originals. Why do I need a copy of something because they formatted it better? Whoop de freaking do. I don't care. Are the words in English? Can I understand the words? Can I make sense of it? Cool. You know,
Yeah, I could imagine
totally.
pirate. Yeah, I could imagine pirate book is like all right that it like gives you something to work with. Okay, you're pirates, and everyone have like an image of what a pirate does. If you cut out all the boring stuff like dying of infections and starvation.
Oh, and not to forget the months and months on end of being at sea with no women.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I did buy the Two Little Mice outgunned pirates game, but because they leaned into it's actually three different pirate games in one. It's got the kind of historical fantasy and then steampunk or something like that. And there were enough things in that I could steal and use ideas, and maybe even play the game. That's more not identical to Earth.
yeah,
Everything about real pirates was disgusting. Okay,
yeah.
no, sorry. There are a couple of things I made a list of my top three favorite things in one of the stories I wrote, and um, if you're going to take out like two of those things to be a pirate, I'm really, really not interested. Now, Owen will tell you, like in my game world, there are men and women on every ship because the whole world's a water world. Okay, now you're talking. Now there's time for some hanky panky. Okay, without that, why am I even existing? What is the purpose of life if not to go after my three favorite things? If you're going to take two of them off the list, and the other one's really, really hard to do. Um, what am I doing again? Yeah, trying to get the fuck off the ship. You know what I
That,
mean? And never be a
but
pirate.
there was a common yeah thing for pirates. Like they said, "Fuck this! Either to the Spanish, French, or English Navy. Try to get enough wealth and then settle somewhere." It's just there's a lot of question mark in between getting away from the navy and settle somewhere.
Hmm. And even living on some deserted island with me and my honey and struggling for coconuts and bananas and fish. At least when the sun goes down, it's not completely miserable, and I'm not surrounded by dudes with the same idea. Because at some point, one of them's going to get a really bad idea, you know, and it might just catch on. And I don't want to be around that, you know. I don't want to ever hear it's my turn in the fucking barrel. You know what I mean? Um, totally stoked about having MCHO having paints, and you got them coming on the show. Treat them nice, and ask them as many questions as you can possibly think of. Keep them talking, especially Dave, because if you don't get Dave talking, he won't talk at all, and George will just freaking monopolize the show. Ask him questions. When's stuff going to be out? What's in the future? Don't ask him about game mechanics. Never do that. Because I'll kick your ass because that's top secret info. That's one of the big reasons uh, it's taken them so long to get anything to print is because they know that the entire history of the gaming industry is based on their or David A. Hargrave's original ideas and have been stolen and pirated and claimed as their own since 1977. So they're really, leery of giving away great ideas that could literally one idea could spark a whole game. I mean, someone thought, the torch mechanic of Shadow Dark was enough to base an entire game around. Um, Fucking retarded, especially if you know how torches work and how fire works and how easy it is to carry a crap ton of torches that don't weigh a whole lot, or candles or things like that, and basing your whole idea about trying to scare people because they're in the dark.
I will admit that's one of the reasons I kind of like post-medieval settings is the fact that you can have a lantern instead of torches.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's also kind of a medieval thing, but it really depends what quality you want the glass.
Right. But here's the thing. I was like, I was playing a Shadow Dark game, and a 50 or 60 foot coil of rope weighs as much as three torches, and is counted as the same bulk. And uh-huh.
Okay, so rope you use for human use and not like a giant ship.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't weigh that much.
No, but here's the thing. If I take a 60 foot coil of rope, I can make like 10 or 20 torches out of it.
Okay, I will take your word for it because I don't know how much rope there is, and that's not even a conversion thing. That's just
Yeah, well,
yeah,
and mind you, the farther back in time you go, the thicker and heavier the rope got until more modern times where you could have paracord, that's like spider silk, kind of comparison.
yeah,
Um, so the idea that three torches, because my friends and I, we used to actually explore the sewer tunnels with homemade torches and candles and fireworks and things like that to light off down there because we'd get in trouble if we tried to light them. You know, it's September and we're lighting off Roman candles. Someone's going to call the cops.
yeah.
You know, but we'd go down there and we'd have to make torches and we'd travel for hours and hours down the tunnels to see how far we could go before we'd give up. And it's not like they were full of like feces and stuff. It wasn't those kind of tunnels. It was just the runoff from rain and stuff like that. And then eventually that stuff would go to those processing plants.
Yeah.
Uh,
Also,
and
I have
we,
a question. Is it true it's better to like have a torch not in front of you, but like down here or like behind or right next to you, so you don't get blinded by the light, or is that a myth? As opposed if
uh,
you have it up here.
for us, we always found that it was better to have it overhead. And putting it behind you is just dangerous. Because
Oh,
we all
I
have
don't mean
long hair.
like I mean like here when I said like behind you,
No,
not
no,
like
no, no, no.
not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
so
yeah,
like this.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we always had like two or three people with them.
Hmm.
And one would, depending on, it really depends on the ceiling, and the area to determine how far a torch will light up and where, like, if you've got a good torch, like up high, right? And you're in a room that's got, uh, depending on where the ceiling is, it'll reflect to
Yeah.
some extent. If there is no ceiling for, like 20 or 30 feet, then, not so much. Yeah.
So yeah,
Prison guards.
that's another good reason not to have an exposed flame in a coal mine.
Mhm. That and you could blow up.
That too, yeah.
Prison guards aren't paid well is the other issue. It encourages corruption. Well, it wouldn't matter. It honestly wouldn't matter how much you paid prison guards. Um, there's always going to be people in the system on both sides willing to perform certain kinds of favors and demand certain kinds of favors, and it's the power dynamic. You'd be amazed how many people um, on the good guys side supposedly do bad guy stuff. Um, you do this and I'll get you that. If you can kind of do the math without me having to explain it and getting disgusting. Yeah, Morkbor reminds me of my seventh grade yearbook, mid '80s flash and mixed up styles. Yeah, yeah. There was a bit of that.
I mean, that is what the art style, what you call it in workboard, is a total radical dude, and that's not me being ironic.
And yeah, Omen. That's why I grabbed the outgunned adventure pirate, because it had three full different settings using the same rules and separate books and things like that. So if you want to play, a historical, or you want to play a fantastic, or you want to play like Gonzo, it had it all. And the game is very dynamic and very much something you definitely want to play in person. But there's still like a lot of interesting things and adventure ideas, and because it's like a Euro game, I find the perspective interesting to get a completely different look. Here in the States and whatnot, everything that's written here has a certain sort of I'm not going to say like political leaning or anything like that. I don't mean that at all. Just a different perspective on history and how things can be done, not how they were done. You know, I find we have less adherence to tradition, because we kind of just like it's almost like a dirty word here now. It's like, oh, that's tradition. Well, you got to smash that. Versus elsewhere, we've been doing this for 1,000 years. We're going to keep doing it for another thousand. That's actually more in line with elven and dwarven psychology, that you know
I mean, there's also a thing going back to RPGs or world building. One thing that was a lot different between classical age colonism and modern and yeah, colonism as you think of in the Age of Sail is that back in the classical age you moved whole villages, like if you needed to settle an area, whereas
Mhm,
in the Age of Sail colonization you move people,
mhm,
whether that was whoever you could get or whoever showed up. So that's also a way, yeah, to think about it.
mhm. You're talking about escaping California too. Yeah, I wish I could get the fam to just say, okay, fine, we're going to do it. We'll try it your way. But they have too many, which is weird because I've been here longer, but they've got, well, Jackie's been here his whole life. I off and on, but they just don't, not ready yet. And at some point, it will happen. Um, Pirate Borg is more like Pirates of the Caribbean with monsters and undead. That's what Pirates of the Caribbean is with monsters and undead. It's just got
Yeah,
Johnny
it
Depp in
literally
it,
have both.
and I can't stand Johnny Depp. Once upon a time, it was there was some stuff he did that I liked, Edward Scissorhands, etc.
I mean, I
Um,
like the what do you call it, the Pirates of Caribbean movies, but I don't remember anything Johnny Depp have been in. But that's also because I'm bad with celebrity names and so forth. Although speaking of movies, do you know the movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage?
love them. Yeah.
Do you know what you could call them if they were pirate theme?
Okay, I'll bite.
Domestic booty. I know that's not the best title to have on the banner, but you could in theory call it that, and it would
It
be accurate.
sounds like an adult movie.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
but
When
that's
Johnny Depp started doing heroin, I stopped liking him because like in the Ninth Gate, that was an interesting job he did. Edward Scissorhands, that was a classic back in the day kind of movie. Um,
oh, I thought they just summoned a demon for that. Just kidding.
One of the famous pirates was a wealthy aristocrat in New York when he wasn't on the high seas. Okay, well, what was his name? You should have led with his name. Bad news. I hear Pirate Borg is the best of the Borgs. I have to choose a state with good benefits. for us veterans. Yeah, me too, Stephen. Three of my favorite things: booty and fame. Um, I don't need to guess the first one because it's top of my list of threes as well. Has good infrastructure for hubby's medical needs. He has been super ill. Yeah, I know. I hope he's doing better though. Um, yeah, I'm a refugee for Cali. Left when they said I couldn't own my own. Yeah, I'm trying to leave for some of the same reasons. Captain Kidd, he was a New York elite. Okay, see, there you go.
I have a
Yeah, we
question
don't make eye contact.
when he says black gun. Does he mean like the color or like guns
Hmm.
black people tends to own? Okay,
No, he means the color of the black plastic that they
yeah.
are used in their manufacturing because uh, people are retarded.
Oh yeah,
Back in the day when firearm training was like just a regular matter of course for every young man and a good portion of the young ladies,
yeah.
things were
I
different.
just yeah. That's definitely a thing I want in like how should we say the U.S., Europe, and the Asian countries. Would like is like making gun ownership and training common or normal. And sorry, go ahead.
I was just keeping up with the chat here. The slot encumbrance is more terrifying in Shadow Dark. It's more retarded.
Yeah.
Um, if I mean, it's like this: if my character can't carry treasure because of the bare minimums of getting there to find the treasure, the character's broken. There's no point for the character to be in the game. If between wearing just chainmail, carrying a sword, and my food and water, I have no ability to carry even 100 gold coins without being slowed drastically. Why don't I just sell my sword and my chainmail and get a job, you know what I mean, and just retire right then and there at the bright tender age of 16?
Yeah,
It's
slot
all stupid.
encumbrance is a thing where you really have to be not be careful, but you have to think like not how much people can carry, but how much a fantasy person could carry, so you don't run into the issue like there what you said, where okay, I have
I
all the
literally
equipment I need, and now I can't drag home treasure because I only have like one or two bundles left.
it's not even that. I literally was playing in a game where I had to hurry up and eat my food so I could carry 100 gold pieces
How so?
because I couldn't carry any more.
And when you say hurry up, do you mean like there was before an encounter came, or
Whatever it took. I just had to, it's like, okay, I was carrying like 3 days of food. It's like, okay, can a day hurry up and roll over? Because I can't carry anything, it's dumb. You can always push yourself and you can always go a little slower, but the rates at which they like, as soon as it's like hit points. You've got, you've got one, you're back on your feet. You got zero, you're down on the ground. One more, you're back on your feet again. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Well, with encumbrance, it's like as soon as you get to this decimal point over the line, your movement rate goes down by half. It doesn't work that way. It's
yeah,
incrementals and percentages,
yeah, and
and when you
that's the case where like they probably should have implemented a fatigue system where like, oh, you still walk at the same speed at this point, but you get tired a lot quicker.
Mhm. The system Bubba actually uses, where every like 4 turns, the fighters have to just take a rest. Okay, cool. But still, when encumbrance, you know, goes down by half because you are one toe over the line, that's not how it works. You're just that much. You're a chunk slower, but not like 50% slower because you're carrying one coin over the limit. Anybody who's excuse me gone hiking or been in the military and had to carry around a 60 freaking pound pack, they know you can carry a bit more. It sucks, but it
There's
if you carry
definitely a
that like
point. there's definitely a point where it does. It's not a question if you can do it. It is a question of
How
uh,
well?
well, not even that. How if you can, how well you can do it, and if you can do it, but how well you can recover, like how long it takes to recover afterwards.
Or for how long you can do it before you just drop from exhaustion.
Yeah, and
I mean, because
Squirrel, we
that.
like encumbrance. We are just saying that like that is a little too that it could be a little expanded a little.
Oh yeah, I was going to get to that, Grandma. That's why what I do is I carry oil and I carry rope, and I'll cut down the rope to turn it into torches. You're welcome to come to East Tennessee. I need more OSR gamers. Uh, I'm obviously sorely behind. I need to join an OSR commune or compound. We all do. That's why I'm saying we were talking about this the other day. We're going to create an old folks home, a senior center for RPG gamers. If you don't game, you can't live here. Um, I'd like to move, but California wants an exit tax now too. What do you mean an exit tax? I mean, I've heard of it, but they can't. How can they? If you're gone, how can they make you pay? You don't tell them where you move to, right? And what do they tax? I mean, well, with you, they kind of probably know how much your property's worth, and if you sell all that, they're like, well, we're going to tax you the second you sell it. So that's why I don't keep my money in
And
ways that they can
Shadow,
know what I
I
have.
think I will have to head out and make dinner now.
All right, you enjoy it. You have a great day. I'm going to stick around here for a little while longer, but enjoy your dinner. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Have a great
Thanks for
one,
hanging
and
out, man.
a great one to you guys in chat too.
Yeah, 21 Jump Street did do that. The whole left coast is sunk. No state income tax in Tennessee. Open or concealed carry, AK constitutional, no permit. Cali was the best state back in the 80s, but now it's a long time. Hey, what's up, off grid? Waiting at a garage on one of the car's annual protective undercoatings. Yeah, I was going to say something about that, Grandma. Back in the day, at my high school, kids had rifles in their rifle racks, and nobody ever nothing. Hell, there were hardly as that many actual what's up, squirrel? Like fist fights. It just wasn't a big thing. It was like maybe like once a month you'd have something, and it was dumb. Yeah, no one was forced to take classes on safety. It's a necessity, but it's done wrong. It's done by people who've never carried a 60-pound pack. They're usually written by people who have no concept of going on a hike and how much you can carry and how much you need to carry, etc. Um, I've done all those things, and I know just because I go one coin over the limit, I'm suddenly dropped by half. It's just it's lazy thinking and lazy mechanics with no actual world experience. Now, mind you, I've never worn chainmail like all day, but I can tell you this: you can't sleep in that shit. Right. I was going to say the same thing with the unconstitutionality, and how what are they going to take you to court when you refuse to pay? You know, it's you that goes against which one of the amendments is it? Freedom of travel amongst the states and things like that. If you sell your property here, they will find out and make you pay a tax on that for the next 10 years. This already happened because Well, they are corrupt, but I don't know how they can take it, and who would let them take it. Um, well, that's it's already been enforced. How? How? I would like to know the way they do that. Especially like my wife, if she sells the house and then moves to Mexico, good fucking luck, right? Yeah, I just don't understand how that can be even remotely legal. Well, there's your first mistake, Daryl. Any federal tax refund will be reallocated to pay the exit tax. Well, um, I would suggest you just keep owing them money. Incorrect, bad news bears. And the other state doesn't need to care. It's our corrupt government here that is enforcing a law that was put on our books. It might affect your credit rating, but I don't have one. I've never had a credit card in my life. Peasants must not be allowed to escape the great California plantation. Dave Hargrave did know what it was like to carry a pack in gear. He absolutely did. And there are folks out there. 10th Amendment, there you go. They've been overtaxing us on purpose. I like to visit Nottingham at least once, but I fear arriving at an English airport. Warhammer World should be the new English capital and seat of the Emperor. All hail Emperor Cavill. It violates taking clause. It has to be fought through the court system all the way to the Supreme Court. Um, yeah, I don't know how when these bigger companies start leaving, how they're going to manage to pull that shit off, or if they're just going to cave in, which I suspect it's going to be the latter. Um, California is so corrupt, and this has to get stopped by the federal government. Remember, they are investigating California government. Yeah. Well, why do you think they're doing some of these things? Because they know they need to keep them busy with everything possible to overwhelm the federal government. If the federal government's spending, even 10% of its resources investigating one of the 50 states, California's winning. Oh man, I'm so tempted, man. I'm looking down here at the Solomon Kane box of miniatures, the game vault they call it, role playing vault. 100 Solomon Kane miniatures. Not going to open it. I want to, but I'm not going to do it. Okay, take care, man. Send me a link to the show if I'm not in a game. I'll come and check it out. That's the other thing. Bad news. My schedule's pretty tight, so um, getting to watch other people's shows is not easy. The commie wants to destroy. Well, of course, they want to destroy everything, tear it all down, and then take everything and give it to the people they like instead of the people who already earned it. Because that's what it all is. It's just like, oh, well, we want to give it to these people because they don't have anything. Well, they don't have anything because they're not. They don't have the wherewithal to go get stuff. Any other way than taking it from other people. There's, all these companies and these corporations that have built themselves up to where they are. They did the work, and just taking it away from people thinking that it's going to keep working, you'll have nothing because no one will there will be no one manufacturing the things. You think you're going to get people to go to work when they can just stay at home and get a check, guaranteed income kind of bullshit. Yeah, the whole left coast is kind of out of control. It really is. uh, Sunday night, yeah, I got a game Sunday night, man. It's a shame you don't do it like Friday or Thursday, but I get it for both you and them. Got some stuff to give away too. Your stuff or their stuff. Um, you will be back, Cal. All right. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow. The elites are crushing the white middle class out of existence everywhere. Well, yeah, because we're the ones who get everything done, and you can't promote your death cult when you got people getting shit done. They don't want any middle class of any kind. They need the equity of poverty for the working class. They don't even want that. It's literally a death cult, folks. When you understand that they're, it's absolutely entirely a death cult. Kill everybody off before they realize what's true and right in existence. Um, that's how they win, or that's how they're keeping score. The more people, they shuffle off to the next existence without knowing the truth. That's like a tick in their box, for them. And only the new noble political class will have money. Except they know it won't work another time around, and they know the revolutions and the fighting between any perceived form of authority will just be constantly torn down until there's nothing, and that's literally the goal. It's not to put their guys in charge this time around. It's to have nobody in charge of anything. Pure, complete chaos and anarchy. Um, is what the death cult wants. And off grid, that doesn't work either because eventually everybody does that, and then everybody dies or everybody gets back together to ensure your chances of survival. One man alone in the wilderness is just another skeleton amongst the rubble. You have to have a community. You have to have like-minded people, but you have to limit it. Uh, X number of people is probably the right answer. Um, to create a community that's viable, that doesn't get too big, that it can't take care of itself, and the corruption, the temptation for corruption is not so great that it drives the community to be bigger. Very very large clans or households uh, is kind of like the optimal, and those households or clans trading with one another, but you can't do it by yourself. You just can't. There's not enough hours in the day, and for what? Just to keep on living and going. Screw the man, I'm alive. Yeah, and what are you accomplishing other than just living? You have to make a mark. You have to leave something behind. Otherwise, what was the point? Children, family, legacy, all those things are important. Otherwise, we're literally no different than the animals that live out in freaking bushes that don't do any of those things either. Yeah, sure, we think higher and deeper thoughts, but there has to be more. We make things, we build things, and if we stop building things that matter, then we don't matter. Yeah, they don't even care about the money, Grandma. Take everything, give nothing back, frog in a pot of water. You guys are preaching to the choir. I'm preparing myself for Ragnarok, back to a barbarian state hunting the abhuman elites. Good luck with that. Um, yeah, soapbox, etc. Been there, done that. Have you guys seen the channel of the guy who bought a ghost town? Yeah, that they'll put a stop to that eventually as well. Um, at some point, the whole point is to turn California into Detroit from RoboCop, and get everybody you know of any substance out, have nothing but the homeless, unwashed masses that they can break out the scoops from Soil and Green and just terminate and kill all the homeless. Oh, they migrated, they moved, nobody cares because nobody's asking. They cleared up the homeless problem. Oh yeah, we got them all jobs and education. Where? You know, they'll just grind them up and throw them into the Soil and Green factory, and then they'll rebuild the state to be nothing but 15-minute cities with flock cameras up your ass 24/7, and then they'll achieve their goal and proved what a utopian they could turn California into. And don't you want to welcome it to your state too? They do brought it right before COVID and has been living up there the last 6 years. Yeah, and the more he talks about it, the more he advertises, the sooner they'll smash it. And what will be, the point off grid? You got to have a family. You got to have kids. Uh, and then what? I mean, if you think you can stand against the entire, government, the army, etc., and you're just going to kill them all and be the big bad Conan guys, freaking, it's not going to happen. You're in your 50s, and before you know it, you're going to have a hard time getting up, just walking around. Um, you got to leave something behind, man. Adopt some kids, have some kids, create some legacy. You've got a great spread out there, but when you're gone, they're just going to take it, and they're not going to give it to anybody. They're just going to take it. You have a family and you have people to leave it to, and they can continue, um, you know, to build an army. Then, you know, that would be great. But it's very dangerous to go down that lone, guy mentality. It's not safe. It's not viable. More than it's not safe, because what happens when you're out in the woods and you break your leg, you know, and you got nobody to call, because you don't want them knowing where you're at, you know, um, and you don't have any family to radio and say, hey, get my ass out of here. You No one will ever find your skeleton, or when they do, they won't care. You gotta, we're meant we're designed to have family and to propagate and to create legacy and generational wealth. That's how they win, is because they've been doing it for centuries. These families, and they understand that you know maybe it might not be them that gets the things the way they want them, but their kids and their grandkids, they will have those things. My life has been 100% better than my parents' life. And even their life, even though they were in wheelchairs and stuff, was, you know, 50% better than my grandparents' life on one side. The other side, not so much. It's way opposite. Um, and if Jackie participates and does certain things, his kids will have it even better, not necessarily, softer, but better, because we've taught him to seek out, information and things like that. And you've got a beautiful piece of property. It would be a shame, to see it just go back to, the state, because, uh, I mean, then what's the point? You did all that just to give them a base of operations to hunt down the next guy, because that's what they'll do, if they don't just bulldoze it all over, and just go, okay, this area is clear, no humans here, right? You definitely stay strapped, so I agree. We've been McLovin it since the 70s. I have not eaten at McDonald's in about a decade, and I used to love their McRib people sandwiches. But then I realized they were McRib people sandwiches, and I'm like, I guess I'm not having those anymore. It's not my fault. Didn't know. Won't have one again. You have to have community. Exactly, Grandma. The best revolution is by educating yourself on who you're voting for. Quit pulling the lever for one party only. Um, if you honestly think voting matters, at least in my state, maybe in your state it actually matters, but we know damn well it doesn't matter. We learned. It took a lot of people a long time to finally realize that it won't matter. It's not who you vote for, it's who counts the votes. And we don't count the votes. And even when we do count the votes, um, there's other people that are also counting the votes, and they'll just count more votes than you will. Then you leave behind nothing, and in 20 years, no one will remember you, man. Don't. That's just stubborn thinking, man. You'd make a great dad, and uh, those kids would be grateful for the lives you've provided for them, and then go on to make more grateful, hopefully, good people. If you just opt out of that whole equation, then you're just a temporary problem, and no matter how much damage you do, um, two other people can do twice as much good, or for them, not, you know what I mean. They can erase all your gains, all your damage will be erased by two of them versus one of you. That's just the way it is. Right. Same here. Stephen, if the power goes out, we're getting a battery hopefully in the next couple of days so that we at least have 3 days of power. And I'm looking at, portable solar generators and things like that. Because the only thing you need power for is the refrigerator. And out here in the desert, we kind of need that. But once the refrigerator's empty, it's kind of pointless. And all you need it for is maybe communication, light and things like that. Um, when the sun goes down in the old days, for most of humanity, we all just went to sleep, and that was that. Um, if you're talking about the church, I'm happy to do it. I wish I could have done it all my life and given more, because uh, it's not the corruption that matters. It's the fact that we Christians are willing to give, and in the hopes that it will go to help someone else. Because despite what you might think, uh, God's getting exactly what He wants. Everything is going exactly according to plan. And when we give, uh, that makes the world a better place. If nobody gave ever, I can't even imagine what the place would be like, and I don't want to see it get to that point. I mean, it will get to that point at the end, but you know, uh, I'm going to keep doing it, and I hope we get to continue to do that for a good long time. A friend of mine moved into court in the burbs. Then the neighbors wandered over to say hello, and she asked if she could have chickens, and they said yes. And then they asked if she was prepared for emergency, and she said, "Well, still moving in, but wanted to have a garden for food for sure. Emergency supplies are important." The feeling out conversation. And finally, the neighbor asked, "Knock, knock at your front door. It's the Suede Denim Secret Police. They have come for your uncool, nice. Come quietly to the Camp California Uber out." She had guns. She said no. They looked concerned at hippie her, but then she was nurse, and the whole neighborhood was, "We have our medic, and you little lady will be protected." The whole court is prepping. Cool, cool. I tend to not tell anybody jack shit. Uh, uh, hey, at least you got a plan off grid. That sounds like a wonderful plan. You could also, you know, go outside the states. Just saying, mail order or something. I don't know. I mean, but if you work on it, you plan on it. I mean, if George Clooney could be having kids at his age, um, we all could still do it. We're guys. We always got one last opportunity to create a family. And dude, you'd make the greatest dad. Come on, man. All kinds of cool shit. It'd be a shame to see it, forgotten. You know what I mean? I'm not going to forget. I'm just going to die before you because I'm older, but, you know, uh, it's the greatest thing I've ever done is being a dad. Um, dude, trust me, man. I won't be around when it happens, and you could thank me, Or maybe you get real lucky, and like the next year or so, you'd be like, dude, I'm gonna be your dad, and I'm gonna be like, that's the shit, man. There's nothing better. Ask Cal. Ask freaking Omen. They'll tell you, man. It's the greatest. Right, Grandma? Being a parent is the best, right? American houses are basically cookie cutter homes, all built basically the same way. We should look at, yeah. You can get right on that. I'm gonna. Uh, that's not my wheelhouse, man. I don't even know. If you know how to do it, that's cool. I'm sure Off Grid could build you a kick-ass place. Um, I'm a range officer at a local shooting range. I'm here to tell you, most gun owners couldn't shoot their way out of wet paper sacks. Sadly, really. You're probably right, Mr. Kennedy, but exactly off grid. The truer words. I'm gonna be a grandpa, dude. I'm so envious, man. I got a long way to go for that to happen, but I think I'd be a pretty cool grandpa. The boy don't see it, because he's a teenager, and you know, but that's the next thing, man. Being a grandpa, when they're like 2, 3 years old, like start telling them stories, about how their dad was, or just all the great stuff. I still have my original copy of James and the Giant Peach that my mom read to me when I was a little kid. And one of these days, I'm going to get to read it to a grandkid. Hopefully, one of these days, I'm going to get to read The Hobbit to him. I'm going to get to introduce him to Spider Man and all that is Star Wars. Fuck, Star Wars and John Carter. Yeah. Hey, Johnny, come here. Have a seat. We're going to watch a movie together. Just shh. Just watch. Ba ba da ba ba. Oh man, come on, man. If you've ever like watched one of those greats through the eyes of someone who's never seen it before, oh my god, that's so freaking awesome. Watching a kid watch Star Wars for the first time. Oh man, that was the shit. And like when Jackie he was literally like, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He was 4 years old when he saw John Carter for the first time in the theater. 3D glasses, I want to say. Pretty sure we saw it in 3D. Um, Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but just sitting there next to him, just watching him, just like, you know, uh, great shit, man. That's awesome. That's awesome, Cal. We got babies popping here. Uh, One of my nephews, he's like in his 30s, got married, had his first kid, and I just realized, he and his wife were here a couple weeks ago. And I just realized, oh my god, she's pregnant again. Like, wait a minute, their little boy is running around. He's like a year oldish, right? And I'm like, he's barely like in existence, And you're gonna have another one, lucky bastards. And it's gonna be a girl, so they're gonna have a boy, an older boy, a little girl, freaking perfect, right? Uh, I'm decent with a slingshot, bow, crossbow, throwing hatchets, and knives, guns. I should practice shooting more, but the cost of ammo is rough. I've got a 1022 as well, but I actually practice with a BB gun. It's even cheaper, and for the most part, you can do a lot of the same shit. Um, Load your grandkids up with sugar just before dropping them back off with their parents. I really actually don't like that idea. I will do that for other people's kids, but not family kids. You know what I mean? And I might do that like once, and it really isn't like doing it on purpose. It's just that if they're over, there's a good chance it's a birthday party, and there's cake, and there's soda, and there's chips, and all that. I don't want to like have even like 1% the responsibility for them getting childhood, diabetes or obesity. So I mean, even 1% is. I mean, are you willing to be 1% responsible? Not me, not even one. Maybe a 0.01. I'd be like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Cake and ice cream, shut up. Uh, I'm divorced. Do being a parent was shit because your ex, but now you get to be a grandpa, and they're still in the picture, and they still, they figure it out. I learned a long time ago that even when folks get divorced, the kids grow up and realize who was to blame. They saw it all, and they can put the picture together retrospectively. They retroactively they can figure it out and go, oh, see, Dad's still doing fine, but Mama's still on the welfare. I wonder who was the problem. You know, and oh, I've got 3 or 4 brothers and sisters, all from different daddies. But pops, he got remarried, and I got half brothers and sisters, but they're all from the same freaking mom and family, where mom over here is yeah, they figure it out, trust me. Yeah, it's fun to grab a box I know we can't do that here off grid, and I don't like the idea of going to the range because I don't want anybody knowing what I got. The only people who know what I got are a bunch of machines and some people who used to work at the gun store I go to. They've moved on because it was a Turner's, and they cycle through employees like McDonald's. Um, so like now, even I used to when I walked into Turner's a couple of years ago, it wouldn't matter. Uh, I walked in, and they would like, "Hey, Mister So and So," they all knew me because they knew I was serious. I was about to drop a bunch of cash in their register. Um, and now when I go there, they don't even know who the fuck I am because I haven't been there in a couple of years. Um, but it was kind of awesome, When I walked in, it's like, "Hey, Mister So and So's here," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, see what you got." Because I probably made the biggest single purchase that store has ever had uh, on one firearm. Because I'm dumb. Mm. But working on it. Maybe this September, October, November, we'll go out to the desert and do a little planking. There's a couple things I want to test out. It's just that they go through employees. Uh, I mean, they may still have the same manager. I don't know. Well, I mean, all of us are, I mean, if we think we're gonna, do the World War Z thing, and somehow, fight our way past 100 freaking screaming lefty lunatics, we got another thing coming because all they got to do is just freaking fall in our direction and just, dog pile, Yeah, there could be that. I really didn't get into the politics of the shop. I just know that. Uh, I'm here to look around, maybe buy something, and I did, and I'm kind of good. I do joke though, if I leave California, I'm going to sell everything at California prices, drive into Texas, and buy double with the same money, because I do look around, I do shop around. I'm like, you're kidding me. It's how much here? You're kidding, because I paid half that. Like my Desert Eagle, I it's doubled in price out here, and I know I can go elsewhere and get another one. And for some people, it's a dumb gun. I like it because it puts big freaking gaping holes in people um, very accurately, at least in my hands. Or suddenly deciding to anger all the firearm instructors, which bring them customers with ridiculous fees. Uh, I appreciate that, Cal, and I would bring all kinds of cool shit for you to read and peruse, and I'd help defend the lands, etc. But more gun than 99% of people need. Yeah, but I'm not. I'm not 99% of the people. I understand that. Hey, what's up, nerdy? Nice to have you back. I will be leaving in exactly 4 minutes and 20 seconds because I got some people stuff to do. Uh, I just want to get out of here. A long time ago, I was traveling to Virginia, and I drove through Texas on the 4th of July, and I was in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the middle of nowhere. And there was a 4th of July parade. I couldn't see a freaking house for miles in every direction. And here on the road, in the middle of nowhere, was a 4th of July parade with cows and little wagons and things, and people just having the time of their life. And I'm like, I want to live here. I want to move right here and retire right here. Uh, but and open up a game shop. And if nobody shows up, that's fine because I'll have a big, giant building to store and display, and a crap ton of tables with chairs around them waiting, with games set up and terrain set up. Uh, and I could literally have a heart attack that very moment and die happy. Uh, if the shit hits the fan and you haven't left Cali already, I ain't got time to read. Your SUV's ready, off grid. You have a great day. We'll see you real soon, I hope. Enjoy and start checking those uh, Amish singles ads. Just saying. Mike's here in the same state as I am. As a matter of fact, he's the only person that you guys know that I know that's ever actually shaken my hand uh, in person. He and his wife came out here many years ago when they won the Tarrasque. I'm still waiting to see the paint job on that guy. And if you ever have trouble putting it together, um, you're going to get to a point like halfway building the model. Um, Go to the back of the instructions and start backwards, and you'll have two big halves of the Tarrasque, and they will fit together properly. That's what I had to do, and it was hysterical because like I couldn't figure out how to put this one piece in. I just couldn't freaking. I tried every like permutation of possible positions to get it to go in where it belonged. And I'm like, okay, let's come at this from another angle. Uh, Grimoire is headed to a printer for an editor check. I'm waiting for my copy, man. Uh, yeah, I've actually been out near where you live many times. I probably drove by your place back in the day, uh, maybe even getting here, uh, and didn't know it. But now that I do, one of these days, you, your wife, and RPG Grandma, and Cal, and OGGM, we got to meet like somewhere in the middle, and just freaking have freaking lunch or something. Even if that's the only thing we ever get to do in person, I it's on the bucket list, man. I want to move to a state where I can be patriotic without worrying about my home being vandalized by complete morons. Well, I hate to break the news to you, Grandpa, but it really doesn't matter where you move. Anywhere on planet Earth, you, because you are you, you're going to be surrounded by freaking morons. I mean, um, even in the greatest place, if there was a Mecca in the United States and we all lived there, we'd still be surrounded by morons. Just saying. But that's a great dream. Everybody should have one. It's together. I went online to figure it out. I primed it recently. Okay, or we meet in Texas when I open up the shop, the big grand opening, and you guys can help me put tables together and shit and stock the shelves. That'd be great. You know, I'm kidding. I'm up for a drive. Texas is nice. Um, I can't wait, guys. I really do like some stuff out here, and I've been talking about it for a while. I got the ladder. I'm going to go out and get like a digital camera. I used to take pictures of the sunset out here. Absolutely gorgeous. I used to live in Huntington Beach, and we had some beautiful sunsets. watching it go down, over the horizon, or beyond the horizon, the waves and all that. But the colors up here are so much more vibrant. Maybe it's my old man eyes. I don't know. I once actually saw the green flash, if you know what I'm talking about. One time in my life, I saw that, but it was up here, and the bands of colors we get, the black, the dark blue, the orange. Just I'm gonna take some pictures. I'm gonna start posting them again and share them with you, uh, because that'll be like the only thing I miss from out here now when I do move. So, uh, anyways, guys, I'm gonna go do some people stuff, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Maybe catch the sunset. Send me a picture from where you are. Let me know what it looks like. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Just stay away from Austin. That's the plan, man.